Oh, hi, friends. I realize that it's been a while since I've done a book review video. That's not because I haven't been acquiring any new books, but I've just been busy doing other things in my life. However, I have acquired some new scholarly works on paganism, broadly put, witchcraft, and I'd like to briefly run through them and tell you why I think they're worth they're worth getting and worth reading. Um, I'll begin with one that's popular history. Um, Rough Music, Folk Customs, Transgression, and Alternative Britain by Liz Williams. Liz Williams is a well-published author. She's written the very good uh, history, Miracles of Our Own Making, which is a history of paganism in the UK. Very good book, published 2020. This is a popular history of uh, basically shaming, transgression, um, uh, semi riotous events in UK folklore, and it's interesting and fun. There's some really interesting stuff in here. The Mari Lid, which is the horse skull headed figure that shows up in Wales at Christmas time. Wassailing, Morris dancing, mystery plays, um, street football, various things. She gives a good discussion of what folklore is, and and some speculations about directions that folklore may follow in the future in the UK. Uh, Interesting, fun, worth a read. This second book, Wyrd Ecology, Heathen Ritual and Gifting Relations by Barbara Jane Davy, published by Oxford University Press literally just a month or two ago. Uh, Really interesting. It's an ethnography from participant observation in heathen communities in Ontario, um, and with a particular interest in how heathen ideas of the gods and use of ritual, particularly gifting rituals, making offerings to the gods and to the land spirits, reflects an ecological sensibility, and how that ecological sensibility develops and grows uh, through participation in these rituals. She discusses a number of different rituals. She interviews and talks to quite a few people in the pagan community, pagan communities that she is involved in, and I just have to say it's great to see scholarship from Canadian authors, but also it's really great to see scholarship that digs into and talks about heathen spirituality without uh, dealing with the stereotype of the uh, overly butch, patriarchal, racist groups inside that community. They are not the majority, but they are far too prominent in the public view. Um, Really good piece of scholarship. I'll recommend that anybody interested in heathenry, ecological spirituality, or Canadian paganism, pick up a copy. The paperback's relatively inexpensive. I think it's about $35 to $40. This is a really interesting collection. The Witch Studies Reader, edited by Soma Chaudhuri and Jane Wyrd, um, published earlier this year, 2025, by Duke University Press. Um, um, Amazingly, for a scholarly book, it's actually fairly affordable. Again, it's about 35 to 40 bucks. Um, when we think of witches and witchcraft, far too often we only think of the white Northern European and North American women, uh, principally several hundred years ago during the witch persecutions in Europe, and presently, um, uh, upper middle class white women dabbling in witchcraft spirituality. However, there is folk magic and spirituality. There is witchcraft around the world, and this collection, very, very interesting, because it talks about those other folks. It talks about brown, black uh, witches around the world. It talks about witch persecutions which are presently underway in India. It talks quite widely. There are sections in here talking about uh, queer spirituality, ethnic minorities in the United States and elsewhere, um, India, Italy, Pakistan, Ireland, various subcultures in the United States. There's a substantial cultural studies section dealing with images of witches in popular music, film, and in other places. Um, just a tremendously good collection. A little gnarly if you aren't an academic, but I'm aiming this video principally at academics. You'll find the language a little difficult, but the breadth and depth of these contributions, um, it's a fairly substantial book. It's about 500 pages, has 32 contributions in it, and it's uh, very, very worth getting as an introduction to a number of these places and the witch communities in them. And there are each of the sections, each of the chapters has a bibliography for further research. Yeah, very highly recommend this. Uh, Cunning Folk. Life in the Era of Practical Magic by Tabitha Stanmore. I can't remember if I've reviewed this one before, but let me just quickly tell you why it's worth getting. It's by Bloomsbury Publishing, 2024. It's about magic users in late medieval and early modern England. Um, Cunning men, wise women, village healers, and magic users. What's interesting, well, aside from it's good, it's just well researched, well written, and a lot of fun. It talks about the different reasons why people consulted magic users: to find thieves and lost goods, to find love, to win at trial, to get revenge, to get rich quick, for healing, to tell the future. All reasons that people still consult magic users, astrologers, modern witches, modern cunning people, um, herbal healers. We are all in the great tradition of the cunning folk of late medieval and early modern Europe. What I like about Stanmore's approach is that she humanizes these folks. She talks about them as human beings. Who were they? What kind of people were they? What were their interactions with one another? And how did they fit into the larger society that they were part of? Yeah, it's an easy read. It's not as certainly as heavy duty scholarship, but it is solid scholarship, and worth getting if you are interested in the roles of magic in everyday life. Here is Stormy Weather, Pagan Cosmologies, Christian Times, Climate Wreckage by William E. Connolly, published in 2024 by Fordham University Press. This is a gnarly academic book dealing with minority philosophies, pagan philosophies, and how they might provide us with a way out of the existential crisis that our civilization currently is in with regard to climate change and the waves of refugees from the growing deserts and the other facts of the often ignored or explained away facts of our present time. It's a counter-history of Western philosophical and political thought. He looks at folks that have been ignored and provides a critical counter argument to folks like Augustine, Descartes, Kant, and deals with pagan orientations and ideas and cosmologies that emerge from other places and times. The Amazonian indigenous people, Aztecs, and many others. Interesting, challenging, absolutely a fascinating counter philosophy to the Enlightenment capitalist hellscape that we are currently in. And last but not least, an older book, but new to me, The Gnostic New Age, How a Countercultural Spirituality Revolutionized Religion from Antiquity to Today, by April DeConick, published in 2016 by Columbia University Press. April DeConick is a very well-known historian of religion and with a strong feminist bias. We all have heard of Gnosticism, and we think of it as being something odd that was going on in early Christianity. What she does in the Gnostic New Age is she talks about Gnostic ideas, the idea of that ultimate reality is refracted through individual enlightenment, not through institutions, that we must seek connection with the divine directly. Notions that are prominent in the new contemporary New Age spiritual philosophies and in occultism, that these ideas persisted as a undercurrent in Western European culture from the first couple of centuries CE to the present, and that they are found in a variety of places and a variety of forms, including in science fiction and fantasy and the contemporary New Age spiritual movements. Again, it's reasonably well written. It's somewhat challenging, but but a very, very interesting cultural and spiritual work. Yes, for those who have a cultural studies sort of interest, yes, definitely you should read this. So that's some of the interesting books that have arrived on my shelves in the last, oh, I don't know, 6 months or a year. Um, there are others, of course, but I think I'll just leave it at that. Um, I recommend those people who are actually scholars who are interested in digging more deeply into pagan theology and philosophy. That there is some excellent scholarship that is coming out now, um, not just the ones that I just talked about, um, and it's worth digging into it. It's worth developing something more deep and complex from our own um, roots, rather than trying to borrow things from the Christians or other people. Anyhow, enough of a rant. You take care. Have a good day.